Hi, welcome to International Recaps. Mariam is at a night party where her dress is slightly torn. Her friend brought her another one. She liked the modern dress a lot. The party began, and everyone began to dance. Mariam's dance is entertaining Yusuf. Mariam was staring at him as well. She'd like to get to know him. She expressed her desire to a friend. That friend introduced Mariam to Yusuf. They exchanged words. Then they both came out. In the next scene, Mariam runs screaming, and Yusuf is with her. Yusuf picked her up when she fell. Then a police car drove through it. Mariam was shocked to see this. Yusuf comforted her. Mariam cannot stop crying or feeling sorrow. She was taken aback when she saw the passing vehicle. Yusuf took her to a clinic. Something has happened to Mariam so that she cannot even face people. They went to the reception and said they had to see the doctor. The receptionist requested identification. Yusuf gave her his ID because she had lost hers. But the receptionist said that she wants Mariam's ID. Then Yusuf said Mariam was raped. We need documentation to prove this. Kindly help us. However, the receptionist is chit-chatting with his employee without paying attention to what he is saying. Yusuf approached the receptionist once more. She was adamant that no one would be permitted to see a doctor without a valid ID. The police accepted only the certificate from the public sector clinic. They had no choice but to leave. In the next scene, we see Mariam and Yusuf in a crowded hospital. Yusuf notices journalists filming the hospital's utterly incompetent operations. Yusuf approached the journalist and informed her that Mariam had been raped by the police. When the journalist heard this, she told the cameraman to film her. But Mariam said, "Don't film me," so the journalist said, "No problem, we're not filming you. Actually, you were raped by the police." Yusuf said yes, and the journalist told him to inform his boss. Mariam became enraged with Yusuf. "What did you do? I'm going to be humiliated in front of everyone." Yusuf said there is no other way, and no one will help us. Mariam said she would take advantage of us. Yusuf said that she is a journalist and can turn your news into a story. Mariam said, "I will be disgraced." Then Yusuf said, "What's wrong with you? You are already disgraced. You don't need to disgrace them. Aren't they responsible for all this?" Then Mariam said, "God will punish them." Yusuf asked, "Are you going to charge this case or not?" "I am not going to give it up anyway." A journalist asked about the cops again, and Yusuf said, "Of course, I have a video of one of them." The journalist requested their phone numbers, but Mariam's bag and phone were lost in the car. Journalists say, "You have to trust me if this is true, and I will investigate." She gives Mariam her business card and says, "You must call me." Mariam didn't want to proceed with the case, and then Yusuf said, "We did so many revolutions to punish such people. If we are ready to accept humiliation, then we will have to forget everything. You must understand your rights, or they will eat you alive." After hearing everything, Mariam said, "There is no need for you to lecture me. To make me feel this way, I want to tear them apart and drink their blood." The hospital staff took her to the forensic doctor, and the doctor said, "I can examine you only after I get the report from the police station. You have to go to the police station and file a complaint." In the next scene, we see Mariam and Yusuf sitting at the police station, and the police officer asks where this happened, and Yusuf tells where the incident happened. The police did not treat them with respect. The police officer asked Mariam to tell her exactly what happened. She started to tell when she and Yusuf were walking along the beach. They came in a white car and said, "We are the police." One of the policemen there took her friend Yusuf to the hotel and asked him for 300 reals as he had no money with him. So they went to the ATM, and at the same time the other policeman raped her. When the cops inquired about Yusuf's relationship, she said that he was her fiancé. There was a verbal argument between the police and Yusuf, and the policeman who was typing her statement went out, and after a while the policeman who was interrogating also went out. "Why did you say I'm your fiancé?" Yusuf asked Mariam. Then she said, "I don't know what I am saying. I have not come to the police station before, but I am following you." Yusuf said, "You can go if you want. We can withdraw all the cases." And then she said, "I have nowhere to go. I am staying in a hostel that closes at 10 o'clock. I have no money, no phone, no ID." Then Yusuf remembered about his passport, which he had given to the police. When Yusuf went to the side of the table to collect his passport, he realized that they had not typed all the things they had said until then because the computer's cable was not connected. When the police officer came, Yusuf asked about it, and they argued and finally got angry, and the police officer told her to go to the police station where she was raped and report it. They both left the police station. In the next scene, we see Mariam and Yusuf traveling in a car. They reached the police station. She was interrogated by a female officer. The first thing Mariam asked her was if she had any clothes to lend me. The police officer said no and then asked her to remove her underwear for forensic examination. When the female police officer sent for a checkup, another policeman came and said that I would take over this case, and then he asked Yusuf to come with him. They talked about something, and then Yusuf told Mariam that they would force her to withdraw this case, but you should not do that. Mariam went to the clinic with the policemen for a checkup. As she was about to get into the police vehicle, she heard a mobile phone ringing and realized it was her mobile phone. When she looked, she saw that it was ringing inside the car parked nearby. She opened the door of the car and took out her mobile phone. Then policemen were coming there. She screamed out of control and ran into the room of the female police officer. Those policemen had come after her. She told the lady police officer that I got my phone and this bag from their car. Then they said she was lying. There was no such bag in our car. When the lady police officer got a call, she told everyone to be quiet. Mariam said, while sobbing and in great anguish in her heart, "Arrest them, they hurt me." In the next scene, we see Mariam being checked at the clinic. She was crying while being checked to find out that she had been raped. Suddenly a policeman came to the examination room, and Mariam got up in shock and then came out. As she was about to leave, the policeman saw her. He said, "You should not give up your rights." By that time, the other policeman came there and said, "Either you go to your house or go to the station. If you are going to the station, I will take you alone. If you are going home, I will be with you and another policeman. You have to decide what you want." Finally, she decided to go to her dormitory. It was closed, and she called her friend on her mobile, but she was not picking up the phone. She intended to leap over the wall. One of the two people she saw leaving the hostel was her father. She hid on the sides of the wall so her father wouldn't notice her, but her father became suspicious and arrived. The cop had arrived by that time. Father was unaware that Mariam was hiding behind the wall. When the officer asked what was wrong, they remained silent. "Don't tell me that I'm sitting on the other side of the wall," Mariam said to the cop in sign language. She must have thought that her father should not see her in that condition, so he said, "I won't tell you if you withdraw the case." She said yes and returned to the police van. In the next scene, we see Yusuf and Mariam sitting in the police station. Yusuf was arrested and taken away by the police. Then the policemen who raped her were there. When they came to her, Mariam ran to the office of the female police officer and locked the door. After some time, the officer arrived and asked her to leave. "I'm returning home. I have to end this." Mariam screamed and begged the officer to let her stay, but he pushed her out and locked the door. She sat in that police station with extreme fear and sadness. After some time, the policeman came again. She ran into a room and closed the door. The policemen were saying, "We want to talk to you." Inside the room, she remembered that she had given the journalist's contact number in the hospital, and she called me and gave all the information to that journalist, but there was no response from her. Mariam sat on the ground due to fatigue and exhaustion. Suddenly she heard a scream, and she opened the door and went out. Then one of the policemen had recorded a video of her being raped on his mobile phone, and he played it. They showed her the video and threatened her. "If the complaint is not withdrawn, we will show it to your family." She tried to grab the mobile phone from the policeman, and the policeman pushed her against the wall. She fainted and fell to the floor. Mariam is lying unconscious on the floor. The policeman's mobile phone is right next to her. A video of her being raped was played. After a while, one of the policemen picked up his mobile phone. In the next scene, we see Mariam lying on a bench covered with a white blanket. There were two other senior police officers there. They woke her up. Then he said, "We have arrested the policeman who did wrong to you, so you should withdraw this case." They gave her a report to sign. She read the report and said this is all false. She would not sign it. The police officer said, "What is false in this?" Then she said that it was wrong. Then she said, "Yusuf and I were seen acting badly, and the police said we would prepare another report." The police officer asked her what you were doing on the beach, and she said we were walking. Then the policeman said they saw you two in a bad way. Then she said we were kissing each other. Then the policeman said the act was against the laws of this country, so we will have to file a case against you. She stated that if you file a case, she will handle it. Then the policeman said, "Let us inform your father." He dialed the number on the phone, and by the time it rang on the other end, Mariam had already hung up. Then she said that you don't need to inform my father, I will tell him myself. Then she called her father and said, "I am here at the police station, you should come as soon as possible." Then the policeman said to her humbly, "You should withdraw this case, otherwise, police will be worthless in this country. You should help us." Then she said, "I don't need to help you. You can arrest me. I am going through a very bad situation. My dignity and body are stained." The senior police officer ordered the policeman present to arrest her. Then the policeman said that I would not arrest her without the order of the public prosecutor. Then he went to her and said that they are trying to frighten you. They cannot arrest you. You can report directly to the public prosecutor. I'll prepare a truthful report about your case. You should leave here as soon as possible. After hearing this, Mariam left the place. The senior cop scolded and yelled angrily at the junior cop. Mariam went down the stairs and reached the yard. Then she slowly walked out, hoping that I would get justice. This movie ends here. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.